First and foremost, I am Oshin Sabin. I know Amara dropped it in, but for those of you that don't know, yesterday I officially and legally changed my name to Oshin Dean Sabin. So it has been quite a long week in preparing for that. I want to thank Hands of Change and the Ishtar Fest committee for asking me to present again this year. So, the first thing I want to do with everyone is, can we do our name and just a one word thought, like, where is your mind right now? Your name and one word to describe your thought. And people can volunteer or raise their hands.
Okay, I'll start. I'm Deirdre and focused.
Donna. Calm.
Evergreen. In fear.
Born. Yarn.
Mercy, energized.
Glow child, going with the flow.
Georgia, chaotic.
Anna, grateful.
Lori, distracted. Carly, cat.
Has everyone gone that feels that they would like to go, or should I wait out a few more minutes as people are picking their work?
Refocus. My name is Cody, by the way, sorry.
This is David, busy.
Alrighty, so my class is about the breath of sacred desire. We are going to be working with Ereshkigal, and ironically, I am the one who wrote Morning Star, for which there are several translations. To me specifically, Morning Star is the representation of the peacock god, Machias Talas, which is direct to my tradition in witchcraft, and he is the representative of pride. Now, I believe Evergreen, you said you were in fear. Would you be willing to share a thought of why you're in fear with us today to start?
My health.
So our health, that is something, as we all grow, we get older and our health begins to kind of slow down and body takes up space and time. So I want to ask people, and we'll take a few minutes on this, when we think of that fear in life, there are multiple forms of fear. If you could take a breath and pick one specific moment, what would the clearest moment of the feeling of fear be in your life? Of fear running through your very heartbeat? What is there a moment? Is there an argument, a situation? What is there all of us have something. Mine was yesterday, that the fear in my heartbeat was in the final moments before my legal name change had occurred, and I didn't have to go by my birth identity ever again. But that 12 minutes with that judge yesterday, definitely some fear running through my heartbeat. So I kind of want everyone to start there. Start in that go back for a moment and take that breath and re-engage that feeling of fear running through your heartbeat. And just let your heart beat. Does your heartbeat change in this moment? Does it stay the same? Does this heartbeat feel foreign? What do these things feel like? This idea of that idea or situation or time that provoked fear in your heartbeat. Let it beat. Let your heartbeat feel fear. And in your breath, breathe in that fear. Sit with that fear for a moment. What is that fear that you're sitting with? What does it feel like? Does it have a sound? Is it a face? Is it a word? Is it a phrase? Is it a particular room, a particular image? Is it all of these things? None of these things? And as we sit there, perhaps that sound, that image, that room, that space, that phrase comes. And breathe. Let that begin to bubble up in you. And as it bubbles up, if you have a pen and paper handy, write down that phrase, that word. If you're an artist, draw the image. Make a quick note to yourself that you want to draw the image that came to your mind. If it's a sound, I encourage you to let it out. I would recommend doing it on mute, as multiple sounds across Zoom, as we all know, doesn't work very well. Fear is important in our lives. And, the reason we're starting here, we're starting back in that moment, a moment of fear, is because often we end up in fear states all across our lives. Many of us come from all kinds of backgrounds, varying from good and bad across childhood, drug use. We have all backgrounds in the world. And the one thing that links all of us as humans in this realm of form is, at one point or another, all of us have been afraid. However, in this fear, now, keep breathing it in. What's behind that fear? What thought is linked? In that feeling of fear, what's the thought behind it? Where is that fear? What thought occurs in that fear? And as we breathe in and out, do we have the courage to face the image, the phrase, the sound, the dark room, or the dark space? Do we have that ability in us? Yes, we all do. And I'd like everybody to go on mute. I'm a science fiction nerd. Apologies in advance here, people. There is a prayer I have been using for quite some time now. It is the Litany Against Fear, quickly findable in Dune, if you just type it in on Google. But if you're feeling like you can't face that fear, I would please everyone go on mute. I will say the prayer 3 times and say it with me. Say it out loud, but again, we all know sounds on Zoom everybody trying to talk didn't work well. So let's take that breath and let's turn inward on our fear and become prepared to face it. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass through me and over me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see the path. The fear has fled. And when it has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass through me and over me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. And where the fear has fled, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. I must not fear. I will face my fear. Fear is the little death that brings total Sorry, guys, that's not bad. I get into chanting and I mess up. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass through me and over me. And when it has gone past, I will turn my inner eye to see the path the fear has fled. And when it has gone past, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. Breathe. Take a good, long inhale. Hold it for a moment and exhale. So in that, we're moving in our fear right now. We're feeling it, we're seeing it, we're hearing it, we're listening, and now we're facing it. So now we move in that realm of Ereshkigal, the underworld. Are people ready to walk out? Do you want to walk out of your fear? Are you ready to walk out of your fear? Is it the right time? Perhaps your fear has a purpose here. If you are ready to walk out of it, this is where we will turn to Morning Star. Morning Star was pride. However, like fear, fear can become terror and trap us. When working with Morning Star and pride and transformation, pride is good and should be used properly, but Morning Star, if not under the hand of God herself, will quickly go to his arrogance, as pride untamed becomes arrogance. But here, Morning Star is useful for us because the pride we take in transforming our fear and walking out of the darkness with the light of the Morning Star and the guidance of his pride, and taking into ourselves the fact that we have the right and the power to take whatever our fear is, and through our own action and use of pride, that we can step into the world again. We can leave the underworld and move back to the human world. So make yourself as comfortable as you can be. I recommend, good posture, good natural posture. I'm struggling a little today, but that's because I'm using my hands to talk as I do. But now, if you're ready and you want to move and transform that fear, that image, that sound, that phrase, that whatever it may be. Close your eyes and take a breath. You know your fear. Breathe it in yet again. Tap in to your fear. Feel it. Feel it in your body. Is there a spot in your body that hurts? Are you shrinking? Do you feel like you don't have a voice in the world? Whatever you're feeling, whether it be in your body, your emotions, your spirit, your soul, allow that to surface. And in your mind, as this surfaces, it's like being surrounded in a pitch blackness that cannot be seen. And as that darkness surrounds you, imagine Morning Star, who is the divine of both the dark and the light child worked into one, shining in that darkness just ahead of you. It doesn't totally illuminate the path, as we need to connect with Morning Star now. We need to open to Morning Star's power of pride and accept our own pride in the process, and that gives us the power to move from this dark space we're in this fear. And if you're ready, open to Morning Star's pride, always remembering that, like him, we sit with the goddess's hand on our head so that our pride does not turn us over into arrogance. And only if you're ready, perhaps you see a path, steps, a torch comes. Perhaps you see the stars starting to emerge. However, this path out of the darkness comes, steps, a torch to walk the path, Morning Star above us, guiding our way, always remembering that we, like him, must sit with the goddess's hand on our heads to never cross to the arrogance. And on that next deep breath in, begin to move. Begin to walk. Walk away, walk out of, walk up the steps. Open ourselves to the stars that just suddenly may have appeared in our minds. And as you walk, what action are you needing to take in pride to free yourself of this fear? Whatever this fear may be, what action? Is there something you need to cut ties with? Is there something you need to accept, however hard it may be? Is your ego in your way? You know, is there something you're longing for, but you lack the pride to believe you can have? You know, as you're walking, how is Morning Star's message coming to you? What thing of pride do you need to pick up to move beyond this fear? And as you walk up the path, the steps, or the stars that appear before you, are you willing to accept the gift of the pride that Morning Star is offering? Does it feel alien to have pride going on in your head, to suddenly be like, wait, I'm proud of that. Even if it was something small in life later on, or a small victory this week that you had, whether it be, you got the best tomatoes at the farmer's market, or, no matter how minor it was, what is Morningstar offering you? What does he give you as his message to accept and open yourself to the right of pride within, balanced in compassion that never crosses to arrogance? And as you continue on this journey, when you've emerged, I invite everyone to take the next 7 minutes as they finish up. And if you're an artist, maybe make a mental note of what you want to sketch later. Take a few moments to journal. If there are songs that have come into your head, maybe jot down 2 or 3 of them that you need to listen to. But I'm going to ask everyone for the next 7 minutes. It is 3:26. So in about 3:48, we will resume talking again, and we'll come back, and let's connect. Let's find out if people are willing to share what their message from Morningstar was, and how they need help with the message, or maybe a message messages got conveyed and they need to be shared if you feel called. So again, we will come back off of mute. I will allow everyone to go to 3:48, as we only have to 4 o'clock, and I want to leave some time for discussion and Q&A. But be gentle with yourself in these next 7 minutes. Journal. If you need to draw something or remind yourself to draw, please do that. If there's music that comes to mind, you might want to jot down the songs. If there was a phrase or a sound that you need to release, now would be a good time for that. And we'll see everybody at 3:48. as people are coming back, I would ask them to turn their cameras on if they are ready. And, let's just kind of open up for the next 10, 12 minutes. If you'd like to share, something that's come to you through moving in the darkness of fear using the light of pride of Morning Star, that is welcome. If people feel compelled to share what they're experiencing, it would be much appreciated. And so, when you are ready, I would ask that you raise your hand if you want to go in order, as we've only got about another 20 minutes before I'm done. So I want to make sure that I kind of time block. But anyone who'd like to share, please turn their camera on, raise their hand, and I will shout out to you. I'm not sure to say your name. I can't pronounce it right. I'm gonna butcher it.
Is it Sharakin? Are you talking about me?
Yes. Can I see your hand?
Thank you so much. This was really revealing. So, I began to visualize the fear like you were talking about.
Mhm.
And that was great because it was this zigzag. And I've actually recently been to a chiropractor and they did like this energy, whatever, about the way you feel the neuro messaging. And so I started feeling, yeah, that's what the fear is. The fear is when it's like this, right? So that's the image I saw. And I looked at what that means for me, which is like decolonizing the self, which is basically how the fear got internalized because of different ancestral stuff and world stuff, Anyway, so then a poem came. Rush uplush. Rush uplush ramet ganach. But before all that, I forgot to mention, there was the morning star. So I saw 4 corners of the light in a star that was yellow. The inside was bright blue and outside of the circle was red. And that blue light brought the healing. And that's when I saw this poem that I just read in Assyrian or Neo-Aramaic, and the meaning, which it elaborated a little bit more from Rush upluch urush uplush ramet ganach. So awaken and work, awaken and fight for the elevation of the self, for freeing yourself from fear. And it's like this movement towards sovereignty, right? Because there's this fixation on repeating and repetitive words during the fear state that I experienced in the fight or flight, situation. So this chant really was elevating. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, can you unraise your hand? So, thank you. Donna, I can never pronounce your magical name, and I've been forever. Go for it.
I just wanted to share when you said to go into a moment of fear. I think my greatest fear was always my children being taken away. In that process, I realized that even now, I have a fear of them going away. My grandson's about ready to embark on a trip across the country, and I may not see him for quite some time. So my process will be to hold the fear and allow it. Because I find that, you know, I've lived a long time now, and I know realistically that fear will dissipate and go away. And usually, when it comes to my family, that's where my greatest fears are, and everything winds up being okay in the long run. And I know that, so I talk myself through the fear by knowing.
Thank you so much for sharing. We have a few more minutes if anyone would like to share. And then if not, I wanted to open it up, you know, about, you know, does anyone here, you know, have something they would like to bring to acknowledgement for needing help in acknowledging their pride, needing help in facing their fear, and what this virtual community in this moment could offer, whether it be a virtual hug, a thumbs up, or you got this, something of that nature. You know, that's the next thing I would like to invite. As you know, we sometimes in working with pride, we get into the we can do it all, and we can't. And so I kind of want to close out with, you know, let's make sure we're always staying with the hand of the goddess on our own heads, just as Morningstar has to do with his at all times. Other, we're going to cross into the realm of arrogance, which is never healthy for any of us to be arrogant. So, you know, what I would like is, you know, if anybody wants to share, you know, their experience, feel free to do so. And then from there, we'll move into, does anyone need to state where their block in working with pride is, or, you know, where their block of stepping away from their fear is, vice versa. Or if they've had moments where they feel they have been too arrogant and trying to find a way back to the center. You know, that's where we're going to kind of close out the class, and we've got about 15 minutes left. So, you know, take your time. If you just need to breathe, write, journal, draw, whatever it may be. But I'd really like, again, if you are needing help to access your pride better, to ask for that help. If you are needing help to just step away from your fear to feel pride, ask for that help also. And even though we're all over the world, we're still all in one space in one moment on the web of life.
Hello. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it, and it's very kind of curious to think about fear and pride. So I was just kind of reflecting on what you've said and listening to other people as well. And I was actually questioning in my head, is it pride not asking for help, or is it just a fear of not being understood and accepted? Because that's in my case anyway, because I'm kind of, sometimes I'm thinking, am I, kind of arrogant with it and thinking, oh yeah, I can do it on my own, I don't need anyone, which usually that's the route that I'm going. Because I find it really difficult to kind of open up and be vulnerable with people. Because I've learned from my past experiences and growing up in an environment where my boundaries were not respected, and there was emotional abuse, etc. That if I am vulnerable, I am gonna get hurt. So now I'm thinking, well, is it pride? Because I don't feel like personally that I'm going around the world feeling ignorant or arrogant or like pride. I feel more like, well, I'm safe if I'm on my own. I know how much I can give myself. I know how much I can heal. I know if I make a decision, if it's right decision, it's going to benefit me. If it's wrong decision, something's going to happen, but I'm going to take responsibility. But once I kind of start opening up to other people, there's definitely fear, because I feel maybe subconsciously, am I going to get hurt? Is it safe for me to be vulnerable with people and with who, it's also challenges with who I can be vulnerable, to recognize. Sometimes it's difficult, isn't it? Because if you open up and you're vulnerable with the wrong people, then it's even worse than before. Do you see where I'm coming from? Yeah.
I very much do. And, I understand the dangers of being vulnerable around anyone. I, like you, had a really, really rough childhood, which is every reason that I changed my legal name for. And what I've experienced in the working that I do within my personal branch, pride can when you're looking at it from, I got to do everything alone, I got to do everything, I can't have any help, that's where we are no longer sitting in pride with the goddess's hand on top of our head. Right. Because we've crossed over into, we've got this, and then we take on too much and we crumble under its weight. Yeah. Then we feel worse than we did. Pride can be asking for help. It can also be knowing who to ask for help from. And also remembering that there's a difference between asking for help and begging for it. I'm in the middle of a situation down here with Nebraska Voc Rehab, and we've been back and forth the last several days now, as I've been busy with multiple other projects I'm doing. And they've come back at me with, well, if you want our help, you'll do blank. And my response has been, no, I won't, because I know what I want to do. I know where I'm going, and I have other options, and I'm willing to go explore them without your help. I asked for your help. I didn't beg for it. So I think, in working with pride, particularly in the pride of asking for help, are you asking for help or are you begging for it? And that's the thing I think that you should probably look at in that situation. When you ask for help, how are you asking? Are you asking, or are you so broken down from being alone or doing too much that now you have to have help? And I would invite that maybe that's where your balance is in pride, is knowing when to go, okay, whoa, I need to ask for help, as versus getting broken down into too much stuff and then needing to beg for help. And I think that creates a difference in pride, because we can pridefully ask for help. Begging for help often, sometimes I think, puts us back into the wrong situations, as we're not emotionally clear about the help we need and where our real boundaries are in life, which I think often leads us back into similar childhood or early adult experiences. Now, I can't say that for everyone here. I can say for I think some people that tends to be the case, and that the work is that you can still be proud and say, I need help, and learn where it's I need help or I want help. It can be I need and want help versus I am begging for help. So, as you were speaking, I had taken a breath, and what I heard was, do you know the difference between asking for help and begging for help?
Yeah,
The message that came to me as you spoke.
yeah, for me, begging is definitely not an option. That's never gonna happen. Even if I have to kind of, do all sorts of things to put myself back on track, I'm not begging anyone for anything. But what was actually saying was, kind of trust. Who can you trust to ask for help? Like when I would ask for help, it would be only professionals, like my doctor, a therapist if I need therapist and things like that. But do I dare? Sometimes I want to ask for help from just ordinary people, ordinary people. That's something I do kind of struggle with sometimes. And then I'm thinking, you know what? I'm just gonna do it on my own. I'm just gonna do it on my own. This kind of vulnerability issue. I think in my case anyway, sometimes a little bit too scary to ask for help from ordinary people, like everyday people. But from professionals, yeah, it's different just because there's certain boundaries already in place.
Hi, I'm O'Shane. I just think Evergreen also had her hand up.
All right. I apologize, Evergreen. I did not see you. Much apologies.
Don't apologize. My reaction thing is not coming up. I wasn't sure which one to hit because it might have been clapping instead of a hand raise. So I just let Deirdre know. This was just a share, from the exercise, which I will have to revisit because I had a difficult time with it. Because my fear is very new, and I am if I start to manifest it, it becomes anger or a shutdown. So I have to, like I said, I have to revisit this. And normally what I do when I'm thinking and while you were speaking is I doodle. Usually it's intricate spider webs, but I found myself doodling teeth, and I'm looking at them and they're actually teeth of saw. So I that's where my mental state is right now. So this was not easy for me, and I will have to readdress it. Like I said, I'm in that state of anger and shutdown. That's all. I just wanted to share that.
I do know we are running out of time. I want to, once again, as we got about 7 minutes left. Is there anyone, Evergreen, is there anything people could do, virtual hugs, energy that can help you walk through this sort of chaotic, fearful, angry state you're in right now? Is there something the community could offer you on an energy level, friendship levels? As I'm sure you know other people through our community better than I do, or perhaps even better than you and I know each other.
Well, Allie has reached out to me in direct message, so I probably will be in touch with her.
Excellent. So, I'm glad to hear that.
But thank you. Thank you.
So, right. I'm going to wait out 1 more minute, and then I'm going to close this out. Walking in fear and allowing Morningstar to come into play and be part of our world for a moment. Let's, as we, as the next presenter will be coming on in about, 5 or 6 minutes, I just want to invite everybody to take a breath. I find one of the best things we can do if we're in, chaotic or emotional or spiritual mental state that's a little rough on us, take a breath, make sure both of your feet are firmly on the floor, and, breathe, open your eyes. I would invite you wherever you are to look around I've got posters, my son tapestry, all kinds of things all over my bedroom. And also maybe, just kind of gently pat your body down. Just don't like hurt yourself, but just pat your body down a little bit just to help you, get back into the moment and make sure you're, fully present and back as I finish out presenting. So when, we are finished and the next presenter comes on, everyone's ready to kind of jump over into the next class. But I actually will be jumping off here, as tonight my mom, my dad, and my local pagan community is going to be here. We're actually doing a barbecue for my name change, so I will need to jump off here shortly as I have things to go help with around the house, although I got much of it done before I came on. Also, for anyone who needs to reach out to me, I'm going to leave my direct email in the chat for everyone. Anyone who needs to reach out, please feel free to shoot me an email. I will make effort to get back to everybody by the middle of the week with the legal name change. There's a lot of stuff you got to do behind it, and mine was Friday, so I have to wait till about Tuesday to get documents. But I enjoyed being here. I miss all of you in New Jersey. Sometimes I hate having moved home, but family health had to do a thing. But other than that, thank you guys for having me again. It was a pleasure. And take care. And I will catch up with people hopefully this week, as things have been crazy for me down here. But much love to all of you.
Yep, and thank you, Eugene. Thank you so much for being here and presenting this. Very good. Okay, and next up we will have the history and development of the Temple of Inanna and Dumuzi by Valerie Voigt. That will be in about 4 minutes. Okay. Thank you again, Oshin.
You are most welcome.
Okay.